Guys, I don't think that these stories are going to stop. I cannot believe the story that I read the other day in the Daily Beast. I decided to make a video about it just because it was that wild. Like, I just don't like, listen to this. An anti-woke dad from Texas says that he did not want his children being indoctrinated with LGBTQ plus ideologies, in the school system, wherever. He and his wife decide not to pull their children out of school to be homeschooled or put them in a private Christian school to, be able to oversee exactly what their kids are learning and what their kids are exposed to. He decides the best thing to do is to uproot and pack up his entire family's lives and move to Russia. And not just that, when he gets to Russia, he decides he wants to become a Russian citizen. And the path for him to do so was by joining the Russian military. But wait, it gets even crazier. Not only does he join the military, he was promised he wasn't going to be on the front lines. And guess what happened? He got shipped off to the front lines. It is absolutely crazy. Let me read for you guys this article. So, an anti-woke dad who fled with family to Russia sent to war zone. An American father who moved to Russia to avoid LGBTQ plus indoctrination for his kids is being sent to the front lines in Ukraine, despite being assured he would serve in a non-combat role. Derek Huffman, 46, feels like he's being thrown to the wolves after being told that his job in the military would be a correspondent or as a welder, as his wife Deanna said in a recorded plea for prayers, which has since been removed from her YouTube page. So not only that, but they record these family style like vlogs. Think of like 2016 to 2018 family style YouTube vlogs. Maybe not like as quirky, but it's like, oh, moving into our new house, kids' first day of school, like things like that, So they're recording and documenting all this. She puts out a video pretty much saying that, he's going to be sent to the front lines. I didn't think that this was going to happen. He didn't think this was going to happen. He was promised this. He was promised that. And come to find out, now he's probably being moved closer to the front lines. Mind you, this man does not speak Russian. He doesn't speak Russian. He doesn't speak Ukrainian. And he's being pushed to the front lines of this war. Let's keep reading. Huffman has no prior military experience, Deanna said, adding that his limited training was conducted in Russian. She suggested the language barrier has made her husband particularly unprepared for the horrors of combat. So this is a screen grab from the video that she had since taken down because it started getting massive attention. I mean, like, this was getting picked up. Continuing on, says, unfortunately, when you're taught in a different language and you don't understand the language, how are you really getting taught? She pondered. You're not. So unfortunately, he feels like he's being thrown to the wolves right now, and he's kind of having to lean on faith, and that's what we're all doing. Huffman joined the military in hopes of gaining Russian citizenship for his family through an expedited process. He also felt such service would allow him to earn the respect of his new countrymen, which is something he once said migrants in the United States refused to do. The point of this act for me is to earn a place here in Russia, he told Russian state media last month. If I risk myself for our new country, no one will say that I am not part of it. Unlike migrants in America who come there just like that, do not assimilate, and at the same time want free handouts. Every migrant that I know that has come here, or immigrant, has not only done it legally, but work so freaking hard, take on the most laborious, backbreaking work for whatever they can, to make whatever they can, because they want the opportunity to better themselves. This man went so far down the rabbit hole, the propaganda, the conspiracy theories, that he and his wife decided to move their whole family to Russia? Russia! Isn't that crazy? They decided they're going to move to Russia. And this is the thing that kind of does make me sad. Like, I always say, like, I don't feel bad for the adults who have the critical thinking skills, but at the same time, but at the same time, it's like these politicians have literally brainwashed these people believing all of this, like, stuff that's not happening to the point where this man and his wife moved to Russia. Your kids don't speak Russian. You don't speak Russian. Let me continue reading this. Undocumented migrants cannot join the U.S. military during peacetime. A program launched by former President George W. Bush allowed such immigrants to seek citizenship by serving in the military, but that pathway was shuttered during President Donald Trump's first term. Deanna, 42, suggested her husband had been misled during the military recruiting process. She added that after a month of service, her family had yet to receive any pay. When he signed up and had all of that done, he was told he would not be training for 2 weeks and going straight to the front lines, she said. But it seems as though he is getting one more week of training closer to the front lines, and then they are going to put him on the front lines. Do you know what's like shocking about all of this too? The fact that they believed what they were told by the Russian military. Come on, like there's a language barrier for one. But do you guys remember how there were young Russian soldiers who didn't even know what the assignment was, come to find out that they found themselves in Ukraine and like, whoa, this isn't what we told we were going to be. Like, if the Russian military was misleading their own soldiers and putting their own soldiers in situations and places that they did not tell them or promise them that they would not be in, what makes you think that you, an American, was going to be fine joining the Russian military and that you were just going to be a welder behind the scenes? You really thought that was going to happen? Oh my goodness. So this is a photo that they posted on Instagram, where the Huffman family, Americans who moved to Russia 2 months ago. Derek, 46, has a background in welding and construction. Deanna, 42, is a former teacher and floral designer, which just pegs the question, like, if you did not want your kids learning things in public education, like, you were a teacher, why didn't you just homeschool your kids? But I digress. And we're raising our 3 daughters, 12, 11, and 10, while embracing a whole new life, language, and culture. So a family photo of them in front of this church in Russia. Huffman moved his family to a village outside Moscow in spring. It was launched by American blogger Tim Kirby, who has lived in Russia for 2 decades. In 2023, to attract Americans seeking to escape the liberal gender norm, that project has been a flop, with United 24 Media reporting that only 2 families, including the Huffmans, have moved in. So apparently this is another blog. A blogger was trying to get people to move there, people with conservative values, to escape the United States and move there. However, only, as I read, only 2 families, including the Huffmans, moved. Huffman, a native Texan, brought his wife, 3 daughters, and their family husky baby with him to Russia. The couple also have 3 sons from prior marriages who opted to remain in the United States. Huffman's admiration for Russia runs deep. The Russian state-operated news agency RIA Novosti reported last month that the couple honeymooned in Moscow. The city charmed us with its rich history, vibrant culture, and welcoming atmosphere, Deanna told the outlet. Before that, we figured out whether moving to Russia would fit our family's needs and values. However, it wasn't until we saw Moscow in person that we truly felt a connection. So I guess they honeymooned there, fell in love with the history, the culture, the place, the people, all of that. Deanna said that she was not surprised that her husband wanted to volunteer for the Russian military, even as it is in its 3rd year of a bloody war with Ukraine. Ukrainian officials estimated this week that more than 1 million Russian soldiers have died in the conflict, which continues to rage on despite President Trump's demands for peace. It didn't come as a surprise to me, she said, of his joining the military. He always spoke so highly of the country, its president, and its people, and he has a strong passion for doing the right thing. So these people moved their entire family to Russia because they believed all of these propagandist things that these politicians have been pushing here in the United States, that they're trying to trans your kids, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. Like, honestly, like, you could live a pretty sheltered life in the United States. I mean, you can shield your kids from a lot of this stuff or make sure that they grow up with the values you want them to. But the fact that you thought moving to Russia was going to be the solution, and now, look, you're caught in the middle of a war being shipped off to the front lines. I don't know. Like, I feel so bad for their kids. Like, you are in a whole other country. You don't know the language. You're not familiar with the culture. And you have to like assimilate to this. Isn't that crazy? I don't know, man. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This story was wild to me. I feel sorry for their kids, the three girls who were drug along to this. And even just the things he's saying, oh, migrants refuse to assimilate to American culture and all of that. He went down the rabbit hole so far and so deep in believing these things that these politicians and Russian state media were saying, to the point where he moved his kids and his wife to a village outside of Moscow, Russia. Lord have mercy.